Welcome to Stars X. When you think of the 90s, of Britpop, of stadium anthems that defined an entire generation, one band stands above the rest: Oasis. From the gritty streets of Manchester to the biggest stages in the world, Oasis wasn't just a band. They were a movement. Fueled by arrogance, genius, and the raw tension between two brothers, their journey was as explosive as their music. This is the story of how Oasis ruled the world, fell apart, and left behind a legacy that still echoes today. It all started in the working-class city of Manchester. In 1991, a young Liam Gallagher joined a local band called The Rain. But something was missing: direction, vision, and most importantly, his older brother Noel. Noel Gallagher was a roadie for the Inspiral Carpets at the time, but he had bigger dreams. When he finally joined his brother's band, he took control immediately, writing songs that would soon change the face of British music forever. They changed their name to Oasis, and the rest is history. Noel was the mastermind, the songwriter, the perfectionist. Liam was the rock star, the frontman, the attitude. Together, they were unstoppable, until they weren't. In 1993, Oasis signed to Creation Records, a move that would change their lives overnight.
I don't know.
When you say you want to be a star, I mean,
I don't want to be like no, I don't want to be a no.
Big star.
Yeah, the big nice star, yeah. That's what I want to be. I want to be myself. Find it hard sometimes, but get there.
No,
make loads of money and all that, tackle and have a big house somewhere and all that, and that's about it.
Probably not anywhere near my big house.
Yeah, next door, mate.
The band was called Oasis before I joined.
Yeah, we was
together about
a month. Yeah, about 2 months or something, but we never done
Right,
a gig.
2 months.
We never done a gig. Never done a gig.
Before Noel joined, what was it like having your big brother come in and take over?
It was his saving grace.
He was having it, but he weren't running, he weren't really going anywhere. Right. It was good. It was needed, and you know what I mean? Like, people going, oh yeah, but how do you feel about him taking over? He's took over the songs, you know what I mean? He's not took over the way the band's run. Or way I'm going to run my life. He's not took over me.
Yes, I have.
No, he hasn't. He took over the structure of the songs and the way the songs should be, which is right. Yeah. Gives a bit of discipline. But he's not took over the vocals, the guy who stands in front of that, but he's not took over that, because that's me. Nice one. Yeah. So you did do the most of writing then?
Yeah, I do all the writing, all the music and the lyrics and the
because I read in...
I'm co-producing album.
Their debut single, Supersonic, was a punch to the face of the UK music scene. Swaggering, confident, and unlike anything else at the time. Then came Definitely Maybe in 1994, Oasis's debut album. It became the fastest-selling debut album in British history. Songs like Live Forever, Cigarettes and Alcohol, and Rock and Roll Star weren't just hits, they were anthems. Oasis wasn't just a band anymore. They were a way of life. Working-class kids saw themselves in Liam's snarl and Noel's lyrics. Britpop had officially arrived, and Oasis was leading the charge. Then came the infamous Battle of Britpop. In 1995, Oasis and Blur went head-to-head, releasing singles on the same day: Roll With It versus Country House. Blur won the chart battle, but Oasis won the war. Later that year, they dropped What's the Story, Morning Glory, and everything changed forever. The album was nothing short of legendary. With Wonderwall, Don't Look Back in Anger, and Champagne Supernova, Oasis went from being the biggest band in Britain to the biggest band in the world. Noel Gallagher famously declared, "We're going to be bigger than the Beatles."
I'd say I'm passionate about rock and roll.
And you've never denied that the huge influence that the Beatles have had on you, and you'd like to maintain that feeling about your music.
Yeah, I love the Beatles, what can I say? I'm not going to hide it. I love them. They make me happy. They make me, And I think they're the best and still are. And I think to learn, if you're going to be as good, you've got to learn from the best, and they're the best.
Yeah,
and finally, Oasis lead singer Liam Gallagher has been greatly criticised by one of his biggest heroes, former Beatle George Harrison. Oasis have always made it well known what massive Beatles fans they are, but as far as George is concerned, the band would be better off without their lead singer.
He's like a bit out of date. I mean, he's a bit of a... It's just silly. It's silly. I feel a bit sorry for him, really, because I think he's totally missed the bus. And I think it was proven when you see the band without him singing. you know, they're more in tune, and they can, you know, I mean, he's just excess baggage, I think. And all he does is, you know, make people think what a bunch of prannies they are.
August 1996, Nebworth. 2.5 million people applied for tickets, but only 250,000 got in. It was the biggest gig in British history. At that moment, Oasis was the biggest band on the planet. They had conquered the world, but their biggest battle was still ahead. Themselves? The success came at a price. The Gallagher brothers' relationship, already volatile, started to crack under the pressure. Their third album, Be Here Now, was one of the most highly anticipated releases in history. When it dropped in 1997, it was an instant success. But something felt off. The album was over the top, bloated, indulgent, drowning in its own excess. It sold millions, but even Noel later admitted it was a mess. Oasis had reached the peak, and now they were spiraling downward. By the early 2000s, the original lineup had crumbled. Oasis soldiered on with new members, but the magic wasn't the same. The music was still good, but the energy of the early days was gone. Then, in 2009, it finally happened. After years of explosive fights, broken guitars, and countless insults, Noel Gallagher quit Oasis. He had had enough. Liam wanted to continue, but Oasis without Noel? It just wasn't meant to be. After Oasis, both brothers went their separate ways.
Sad at the way it ended, or did you feel that's it, move on? Are you one of those guys who are quite philosophical about things, or do you dwell on them?
Well, a bit of both.
Yeah.
I didn't dwell on it. I was sad about the way that it ended, because it ended not very nice. There's shouting and swearing, and you know, things being slung around the dressing room.
What's your thoughts when you think back on that moment?
I didn't think it was brave or stupid. It was just inevitable that it was going to happen. And you know, you get to a certain point in your life. I was 42 at the time, and still really, you know, if you're in a job that's making you unhappy at that stage in your life, you just got to think, well, you know, there's no point. I mean, surely the pursuit of happiness is everybody's right. Do you know what I mean? And
Noel launched a successful solo career, crafting a more experimental, melodic sound. Liam formed BDI, but it never quite captured the magic of Oasis. Eventually, he went solo as well, returning to his Britpop roots and proving he was still one of the greatest rock frontmen of all time. Even after all the chaos, the fights, and the breakup, Oasis's legacy is stronger than ever. Their music continues to define generations, their lyrics still resonate, and their anthems are still sung in stadiums worldwide. In times of crisis, fans around the world still unite by singing, "Don't Look Back in Anger." That's the power of Oasis. The question remains, will Oasis ever reunite? Noel says no. Liam says maybe. Fans still hope. But even if they never share the stage again, Oasis's story is already written in history. A reminder that sometimes all it takes is two brothers, a dream, and a whole lot of attitude to change the world. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.